Shirley Temple charmed the country with her dimples and the good ship Lollipop. Audiences thrilled to the swashbuckling scenes in Mutiny on the Bounty. Kids began playing a new real estate-themed board game called Monopoly. And rural Americans blew out the candles and turned on the lights. Today, rural America is a thriving land made bright by scores of imaginative people who improved lives and increased the productivity of a nation by bringing electric cooperatives to rural communities. In the 1930s, however, rural life was very different. Because less than 10% of rural areas had electricity, life was a wearisome cycle of hardship for most families, but that was about to change. In 1933, Indiana farmer and Farm Bureau manager Harvey Hull and others took a trip to London for an international cooperative conference. During the trip, the group traveled to Norway and Sweden, where they discovered that 65% of the rural areas were electrified. By forming a group of electric cooperatives, consumers owned their electric lines by obtaining government financing for long-term, low-interest loans. Hull returned to Indiana believing that this model would work in America and bring much-needed electricity to the rural areas. Working alongside attorney Frederick Barrows, Hull began to draft legislation which allowed for the formation of REMCs across the Hoosier State. On March 9, 1935, Governor McNutt signed House Bill 454, the Indiana REMC Act, into law, the first of its kind in the country. 2 months later, President Roosevelt signed a national law establishing the Rural Electrification Administration, and $1 million was set aside for rural electrification projects. With a source of funding in place, the Farm Bureau Board created the Indiana Statewide Rural Electric Membership Corporation to promote electric co-ops across the state and provide services to members. The statewide organization, the first of its kind in the nation, was officially founded in July 1935 with a written purpose: to promote and encourage the fullest possible use of electric energy in the state by making electric energy available to inhabitants of rural areas. During the early years, Indiana Statewide gathered necessary data for the REA to finance and approve local projects and handled the legal aspects of establishing an REMC. In addition, Statewide served as an engineering cooperative, providing direction for design and construction of distribution lines. Another top priority for Indiana Statewide was the formation of Boone County REMC, a model for other rural electric groups in the state and country. On a cold, wintry day in January 1936, the first pole was set at the corner of Noble and Lebanon Streets in Lebanon, Indiana. A celebration followed the pole-setting ceremony where some 500 people discovered just how much electricity was going to change their lives for both work and home. By the end of 1937, some 2,000 rural families were receiving power in Boone County. 4 years after it was founded, Indiana Statewide had helped to establish 42 REMCs in Indiana and helped to erect 11,000 of the first 17,000 miles of distribution line around the state. With the needs of the association changing, the board of directors began to reevaluate the Statewide's future direction. In October of 1940, Indiana Statewide emerged with a new slate of services. Statewide would now serve as a legislative watchdog, track franchise territories, assist in public relations and labor regulations, answer retail rate questions, and instruct co-op employees in safety practices. Just 2 years later, the National Rural Electric Cooperative Association was organized in Washington, D.C. to serve as the National Service Organization for Rural Electric Co-ops. Soon after the 1950 annual meeting, Willie Wirehand was introduced as the symbol of the rural electric movement and educated the public about electric usage for over 50 years. As the cooperative model came under the threat of deregulation in the late 1990s, cooperatives banded together to form a new national brand. Touchstone Energy was created in 1998 to enhance awareness of electric cooperatives and communicate the cooperative advantage to the public. Indiana's powerful tradition lies in the 39 rural electric cooperatives who serve more than 500,000 farms, homes, and businesses in portions of 89 of the 92 counties across the state. Indiana's statewide association of rural electric cooperatives continues to be a valuable partner with its members. Whether standing together in times of disaster or facing the many challenges of a complex industry, the partnership stands the test of time. Our powerful future lies in the hands of the skilled professionals who provide valuable resources and a wide range of expertise. Working together, Indiana's statewide and Indiana's electric cooperatives are an effective team, many parts working together to accomplish a common goal.